All right, welcome back. We're here for another episode of Two Flame Sports, starting and not even knowing that it's going. But here
Wondering
we
why you're
are.
laughing.
Uh, yeah, so we're talking. This is after junior days. A bunch of kids were on campus that, we talked about a handful before, but more showed up than we expected, or at least that was reported. Everyone was tweeting everything. Our Twitter was going crazy, and we really appreciate you guys. If you follow us on there, we've been having a lot of interactions, and you guys have been tweeting at us and asking questions. And if you hadn't already, go follow us on that Twitter, follow us on Instagram, find us on Instagram and Spotify. And if you keep coming back watching our YouTube videos, you might as well subscribe as well and turn on that notification bell. Because we know a lot of you guys do. Only 28% of you subscribe, and it's not great. We need to be 30 plus. 30 plus. So, but yeah, so today we're going to be talking about OU had a recent decommit in Deandre Moore. They picked up a couple commits this weekend. And then what kind of we should expect for the National Signing Day and who should be signing on that day, how things are looking, and what are the outlooks and what are the chances for some top players that the Sooners are after. So we just want to say we really appreciate it, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So today we're going to talk about, or the first guy we're going to talk about is obviously the decommit for today is Deandre Moore, which Deandre Moore, he committed a few months ago, kind of in that rush with Malachi Nelson and Mekhi Lemon and kind of the Lincoln Riley recruiting.
Who's Lincoln Riley?
True. That's true. I don't even know who that is, but whatever that guy was before. But he's in the 2023 class. He's a wide receiver. He's a four-star, number 48 overall kid. So extremely talented. It was kind of one of those gut feelings that we kind of thought most likely he was going to decommit, but DeMarco Murray was putting in a lot of work, and it seemed like he was going to be able to retain him. And then I don't know, maybe it seemed like the Sooners kind of backed off of him. He didn't come this weekend for junior days. It just, instead he went to Louisville. I mean, I don't know, just something didn't work, and I don't know if the Sooners didn't like their chances with him being at Los Alamitos with some other Trojan commits, and they just felt like the odds of them getting him were slim to none. And they've got quite a few great wide receivers that they're recruiting in, like Ashton Cozart, Jalen Hale. There's a few others that they're going after, and Hale is a 5-star right now. Jose, what do you think about the loss of Deandre Moore? I don't feel like it's over. I feel like it's kind of shocking, but then at the end of the day, it's really not when you think about it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't think it's over. I think at this point, maybe he just feels like all the 2022 commits, whenever Lincoln first left, he just wants to explore, see what's out there for him. Now that, it doesn't seem like he's too sold on playing with Lincoln. He's legit just looking around and seeing what's available for him. So we'll see. I mean, it is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, like, he's gonna make the decision that's best for him. And even if he said in the past it's always been a dream to be a Sooner, like, maybe that's not where he finds the best fit for his football career.
See, yeah, it doesn't happen all the time on the show, but I'm gonna just entirely disagree with what you said, Brum, about how it wasn't too much of a shock and things like that. To me, when I saw it, I was very shocked because, as Jose mentioned, he sat down with 24/7 Sports, said he's always wanted to be a Sooner. He tweeted like after the commit, after everything went down with TVOW, tweeted about how as long as DeMarc was there, he's rocking with OU. Like a month ago, there was an article written by 24/7 about how, despite everything going on, he's 100% locked in. So, like, to me, I was kind of shocked by the development of him decommitting. I kind of agree with Jose to where it's not over. I think there's a chance that Oklahoma can bring him back in, but I mean, as you mentioned, I do agree he's a very talented kid, number 48 overall. He was far and away our highest ESPN top 300 commit in that 23 class. So yeah, it is a big blow for Oklahoma if he doesn't come back. I do agree that we have guys, as you mentioned, in Cozart and Hale that can fill that hole if we're able to land a couple of those or one of them, whatever. But I was definitely shocked. If he does leave OU, I don't see him following SC. I have a feeling he's gonna end up being a Louisville Cardinal.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just not quite as shocked because I'm just thinking about where he's at. He's a high school with guys that were committed, to OU at one point, and then Lincoln Riley is out there. I don't think he might be a Trojan, but then again, I could definitely see him going elsewhere, like you said. I just feel like, honestly, what the staff is trying to.
You gotta stop saying the name who shouldn't be. It's like Voldemort, dude.
Yeah, but I really think Venables and the staff, they're trying to focus more on Oklahoma, Texas, and in this region, and obviously Florida as well. I mean, they're going to recruit in California, but I really feel like they're placing a higher focus on kids out of Texas and closer to home. And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Deandre Moore's gone. He might come back. I don't know. I just feel like OU is going to fill up at the wide receiver spot, just like the old coaching staff. I don't think OU is going to struggle to find kids to catch the football.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's not falling, but I mean, I think we would be dumb to say it's not.
It hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts.
Like, I don't want to say significant loss, but I don't want to just brush it off as if he didn't just lose a kid who was number 11 in the ESPN top 300. Like, he's that high for a reason.
It's not really a loss, though. He's never on the team.
I mean,
there was always the chance of losing him.
I mean, that's true. I mean, but I feel like he was like the final, like ripping off the Band-Aid of the last coaching staff. Like, that's the last one.
I don't know. But I don't think he'll be like considering SC that much. Maybe he'll take a visit because he does have relationships with those teammates, but it seems like he decommitted after visiting Louisville. That's it. That has to be something.
That, and I think other schools are pushing harder for him. But
yeah.
So anyway, we're going to keep an eye on him, and we'll just see what happens. I think we're going to see some wide receiver movement here pretty soon. But speaking of picking up a commitment, on the brighter side, Eric Mccarty, we talked about him on the last podcast that came out on Friday of last week. He's from Callister, Oklahoma. He's not currently rated by 247, but he's 6'2", 280 pounds, and it seems like he's being recruited more as a safety or a defensive back. And, he plays both sides of the ball for McAllister. I think he had over 2,000 yards rushing last year in his junior season, scored like 30-something touchdowns. I mean, electric, and he intercepted, forced fumbles, he's just a terrific athlete. His dad obviously played at Oklahoma. And, it's just another example of a guy that didn't have an offer before Venables got here. That's a local homegrown kid. I mean, someone that's that electric, that athletic, he's got the size that you want in the defensive back room. And OU made an offer, recently, got him on campus, and boom, he committed on the spot because obviously he probably grew up an OU fan with his dad playing there. Brandon, what do you think about adding McCarty?
I mean, yeah, we like it. Anybody with numbers, as we mentioned on the last pod, putting up stuff like that, almost 80 career touchdowns, just a dick pile of rushing yards. He's got 3 or 4 picks. It's kind of just all over the field. Anybody who can do that stuff against kids his own age is a man amongst boys and putting up huge numbers. You want that on your team. He's very fast rising. He's a 3-star, I think, on Rivals. He's still unranked on 24/7, but that should change going into his senior year. And clearly it goes to show that Venables is kind of sticking to his word, where he's not recruiting players based on this star type system thing. He's watching them play the game, and if he sees a fit on his team somewhere, because a lot of our Twitter followers who are excited about this kid like we are, they all kind of see him playing on the defensive side of the ball. I think we might agree. I think we agree with that. I mean, but he's versatile. He's playing at an elite level in high school, so he should bring a lot of promise to OU.
They should definitely consider him playing on the offensive side, though. But yeah, he'll be fun to watch. Hopefully, he does get some respect over his senior season. I feel like there's guys that aren't producing nearly as much as him that sometimes are even ranked as maybe low 4-stars. I mean, this kid's not just going up against scrubs, like Brandon said. It's people in his age group, and he's putting up numbers that some 5-stars don't even put up. So. We'll see how his senior season ends up being, but yeah, definitely a guy that's important to make sure we're starting to establish good relationships again with local high schools and the players that go there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a Billy Bowman deal where you recruit him as a defensive back and say, if there's a spot and you want to compete, you can on the offensive side. It's just wherever you can, crack the starting lineup. But no, it's good to see him on campus, or he will be. And I guarantee if he posts the same stat line as he did this year, he's going to be probably a 4-star. I would imagine. There's no way you can go back-to-back seasons, playing, I think McAllister's 5A, 4A or 5A. And, that's a good size school. And he's not like playing in, 8-man football or, 2A. He's playing decent size.
That would be a hell of a jump from unranked to 4-star.
Hey, it's happened before. I mean, you saw Robert Spears Jennings jump from over 1,000. He was ranked like 1,000 something, and now he's a 4-star. And I feel like Mccarty just hasn't gotten many looks just because he plays McAllister. So another guy that committed but not as a full scholarship offer is Gavin Freeman. He's a 5'9", 170-pound wide receiver out of Oklahoma City. He plays at Heritage Hall. He's a 3-star. He's not rated overly high at all, but basically the way I look at him, he is a carbon copy of like a Wes Welker. He, from Heritage Hall, was going to go to Texas Tech. He same size pretty much, and he just plays the same way. And again, he's committed as a preferred walk-on, so the only thing he's guaranteed is a roster spot. And at the end of the day, we've got a guy like Drake Stoops that's similar in size, and we can always use a great slot receiver and a possession receiver type of guy. And Freeman, his dad played for Oklahoma as well, so there you go, another guy that has Sooner ties, that never got an offer or a look at all from Lincoln Riley. And then Venables comes in and offers him because he's 30 minutes up the road. Jose, what do you think about him?
Yeah, it's always good to add more depth on the offensive weapons. So hopefully he does get to compete. And at this point, like you said, nothing's really guaranteed. And he's kind of a guy that if he gets any time on the field, it was earned, and not because he was recruited at such a high level.
Yeah.
He had 9 touchdowns of over 50 yards this season, that's kind of a stupid stat. Like when you think about it, like that's taking the top off defenses. That's all of that. I think if he wants a chance to, crack that lineup or, earn some playing time, it's got to start on special teams, where it does with a lot of these guys. And you mentioned Wes Welker. Wes Welker's a spitting image of that. Wes Welker, at least in the league, obviously didn't follow much at Tech. It was a little bit before my time, but when he got to the league, he started off as a punt returner, kick returner type guy. And I imagine he probably did a lot of that in college too, before he worked his way to a starting level receiver in college. And I feel like for Freeman, if he has 9 touchdowns of over 50 yards, he's obviously got some speed. He can catch. He's a receiver. I feel like if he wants to make a name for himself, he's going to have to start off in that punt returner, kick returner role and kind of be explosive there. And if he's explosive as a punt returner, kick returner, they'll find a spot to put him on the field and, if nothing else, just stretch the defense.
Yeah. We can always use a great punt returner. We've seen a muff punt or two in our day last season. So, special teams are important, and someone that they're going, it's cool to see that Venables is trying to, he's offering guys with his, with their dads playing there and putting that Oklahoma first type deal. And I'm not saying that Oklahoma's got the most talent in the world, because it doesn't, but there are some good players that have come out of this state, and it's terrible to watch great players go play for other top programs. And I don't think Venables is going to let that happen as best as he can. So there was a bunch of other weekend visitors, just to name a few, like Trey Wisner, Caden Lee, Logan Reichert, Dylan Edwards, Jaden Chapman, Derek LeBlanc. Dylan Edwards is a running back from Derby, Kansas. He's the 2021 Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. He picked up an offer. Venables is, a Kansas guy. He's pretty much a legend in that state. He's going to put Kansas on a lock. Obviously Jaron Kanak came from there. And now you've got
Is it Kanak or Kanak?
I say Kanak.
Chavis problem.
Yeah,
I think this one we can clarify it is Kanak.
Yeah, it's Kanak.
I've been saying
it's Kanak.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty confident it's Kanak.
More confident than I would ever say Miguel's name.
Chavis.
Yeah, he's Coach Miggy on this show forever. But
Miggy.
Kanak. Okay, Kanak.
Yeah. So Dylan Edwards, anyway, he's electric. I mean, Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. He was a 3-star, but he got an offer this weekend. I think that's someone that will commit to the Sooners relatively soon, over the next few months. But someone that I'm really excited about that was on campus was Derek LeBlanc. He's a 4-star, number 84 overall, number 13 defensive lineman in the 2023 class. I mean, he's 6'4", 270 as a junior going into his senior year. He's from, Kissimmee, Florida. Huge guy, great player.
It's Kissimmee.
Kissimmee. Okay, there we go. No one can speak. I struggle with saying cities
all around the show.
But
what do you
anyway.
think, Kissimmee? What the hell is Kissimmee? If you look at the way the word is spelled, how did you get Kissimmee out of that?
Words are hard.
I'm just adding a few extra letters. Words are not my strong suit.
That's okay. It'd be like that. I said Connect.
Yeah, you said Connect. So anyway, LeBlanc was supposed to be at Clemson this weekend, and it just so happened that he showed up at OU. And obviously with Venables and Bates once in Chavis, or Chavis as Jose likes to say, they Coach were Mickey. All Coach Mickey. They were all once a part of Clemson, and I really think the Sooners after this visit are making great headway on him. It's going to come down to I think it's going to come down Ohio State and Oklahoma. I feel like we've heard that before with many players over the last year or two. But I really think he's going to come back, whether it's for another junior day or not, but I'm pretty confident he'll be back with an official visit. But, getting a guy like him on campus instead of Clemson, I don't think would have ever happened with the previous coaching regime. And I think we're seeing the effects of a Bates and Venables and Chavis, trio. Brandon, what do you think about LeBlanc or any other guys that visited?
If it comes down to Oklahoma versus Ohio State for LeBlanc, it's got to favor Oklahoma because the last time these two teams played each other, a Sooner became the owner of that stadium. Like we own that stadium in essence, with Baker Mayfield planting a flag right in midfield and just kind of, really claiming your dominance there over that university forever after that. So he should watch that tape, decide not to go there if it comes down to those two. And then going back to just the kid itself, you mentioned his size at 6'4", 270, which is obviously freaky. And that, like I mentioned a couple of podcasts before, it seems like these D linemen just every year do become freakier and freakier athletically with their measurables and stuff like that. But the kid also had 15 sacks last year and 17 tackles for loss and 65 total tackles at that D-line position. So not only is he getting after the quarterback with 15 sacks and, 17 tackles for loss or whatever, but that 65 tackles, that means he's stepping up and playing good run support too. So you mentioned your excitement for him. I think it's awesome he blew off Clemson. Maybe that's the Todd Bates effect that we've talked about over and over on this show, but it's a real thing. He's a kid that I would love to see put on that Crimson and Cream one day.
Yeah, I was going to mention it. We're just seeing why Todd was brought here. We've seen why Valai was brought here. Not just because of how good they are at developing and coaching those players, but they're really, really good at connecting with them from, 16, 17 years old to get them to at least always consider playing for them. And I think now better than ever, we definitely have a good shot at beating Ohio State for a lot more players, because we saw over the summer last year, we had Kenyatta Jackson was between both of us. Amari Abor for a little bit was considering Oklahoma and Ohio State, and Oklahoma didn't get a lot of the top defensive and defensive line talent because, Ohio State's really good at developing them. But now we have coaching staff that is known for developing really good talent. A couple first-round draft picks at that position. So, he's definitely a guy that I would be surprised that if he wouldn't commit to Oklahoma just because he blew off Clemson, and it's clearly a relationship that's been built there by Bates and Venables and maybe Coach Miggy. I don't know how much analysts can be involved in recruiting, but I'm sure they've at least met a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, the last staff, they were good at recruiting. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but this is the staff that I feel like can actually close kids out against other top programs. Yeah, the old staff could beat out like
the last staff was kind of like, that hot girlfriend who's hot when you meet her and she's, don't get me wrong, she looks good and stuff, but she stays that way forever. This staff is maybe, the little bit less hot at meeting time, but then they progress and they become like, way better looking than the other one. It's kind of how I can describe this situation.
5 years of aging is really good for this staff.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, they just go to a whole nother level. Yeah, I feel confident with them, closing out against Ohio State and Clemson and Alabama. They're not going to win everyone, of course, but they're going to win their fair share. And I think we're going to see kids are going to want to play defensive line and linebacker for the Sooners, and I think defensive back here pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the weekend visitor list, just to name a few that highlighted. I mean, there's a lot more, like Joshua Bates was there. Jackson Arnold showed up. There was a ton more. Do you guys have any comments? Any other guys that I didn't mention? Anything you want to say about them before we move on?
Nothing about a specific player, but I think it's important to highlight because you guys were kind of talking, you guys just talked about the last coaching staff and kind of a difference where the recruiting methods, and we've talked about it before, but it's the relationship building. And I think it was earlier this morning or sometime yesterday at night, Brownlow Dindy was interviewed, I guess, and they talked about why he decommitted from Oklahoma and pretty much said that Lincoln promised him a lot. They even asked him if he was going to be around when Dindy got there, and he said yes. He promised them a lot of different things, and then he left. I think whatever you want to think about Lincoln, at the end of the day, he's a pretty good football coach and can recruit, but the difference is he was making a lot of empty promises that he couldn't always follow through on, at least with some of the players that he really wanted. Maybe a guy like Bowman or a guy like Dindy. Clearly he left, but then you have Venables, who doesn't seem like he's going to make those promises. Wisner, I think you said is how you pronounce his last name. His mom was raving about the biggest, how big of a difference it was visiting this one time with Venables and this stuff compared to 2 times before with Lincoln Riley. I mean, parents are going to be a lot more excited to send their kids here, a lot more comfortable, and that's going to speak volumes because parents influence the kids a lot. They might just say that you can't go there. We don't want you there with that coach, or that coach didn't treat us well or something. So good stuff for the future, at least.
Yeah. And now, while this weekend was a success, and obviously they got a couple commits, one, preferred walk-on and one, actual full-on commit. I think the March 5th, if anyone doesn't know, March 5th is another junior day for the University of Oklahoma. I think that day could be even more jam-packed with star talent. I mean, there was a slew of 4 and 5 and 4 and 5 stars on campus this past weekend. I think the March 5th one could be even bigger, or even if it's the same size, it's great. So a lot of great stuff's happening. A lot of people want to be Sooners, and OU's starting to roll. And I really think you're going to see it over the next 6 to 10 months of once this next season starts, Venables is going to really start getting his guys that he wants, which is exciting. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about a little preview to National Signing Day. Obviously, most people have signed at this point, at least for the Sooners. There's only a handful left that haven't, like a Gentry Williams. He tweeted out earlier today, and it was posted on our Twitter that, he's signing his national letter of intent for the University of Oklahoma. And it's good to obviously see him, because at one point, all 3 of us thought that wasn't a for sure thing. And
I don't really.
It wasn't, though. It wasn't. He definitely thought about leaving, but
he was flirting with other people
a little bit. Yeah,
he was flirting.
Thought
he
about
was
cheating.
At the party with, he brought OU to the party, but then he started screwing around with Florida and stuff, and then he came back to OU.
Florida's never a good answer.
Yeah,
especially not Kissimisi.
Yeah, Kissimisi. But anyway, oh gosh. Speaking of another Florida guy is Ahmad Moten. So he's from Fort Lauderdale. I don't think I butchered that one, but Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's in the 2022 class, and he's a 3-star defensive lineman from Cardinal Gibbons High School. And he's 6'3", 290. He's extremely talented, and he's been one of those guys that has really started to get some attention as of late. And this was one of the first offers that Chavis ever made, or Coach Miggy ever made and ever visited for OU, was Moten. And it was someone that I think that they identified him at Clemson, but they actually never moved forward with an offer. And as soon as they got hired on, at OU, that was like one of their first things to do. It's just the guy that's, got great size, and it's something that, the old coaching staff thought he was probably too large and would get, he wasn't athletic enough or wouldn't fit in for their yoga.
To run slow D.
Yeah, the slow D. It's really going to come down to, he's visited Tennessee, he's visited North Carolina, Miami, and Iowa State, and then Oklahoma as well a couple of weeks ago. It seems like it's going to come down between Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Miami. And obviously, because Miami's the home team, Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, Florida, not too far. But I really think this is going to end up in Oklahoma's favor. I think with the uncertainty in the Miami coaching staff, they haven't filled out all their positions. From my understanding, I just think OU's it's a solid choice. I think he enjoyed his visit, and I think it's someone that OU's going to win out on. Brandon, what do you think about it? And do you agree with me or disagree?
Stuck around a little bit. Y'all know how I feel about Miami.
Yeah.
That program and how
pretty good, right? Is that what you were saying?
They don't even have their own stadium. How did you know that? They have to drive like 20 minutes to go to Dolphin Stadium just to play football games.
It's a fun fact. A lot of losing football there.
A lot of losing, as you mentioned. They lose a lot. They don't have their coaching staff filled out. There's literally the only thing they can offer you is warm weather, and it's overrated at some point in time. I mean, you can only go to the beach so many times in a row, and you'll be like, damn, man, the beach is tight, but like, I hate that we lose every Saturday. Eventually, winning becomes greater. Winning becomes better than all of that. And he'll find a whole new team at Oklahoma, like a whole new squad at Oklahoma to hang out with. And he's got teammates at Oklahoma. I agree with you, Bro. I think he's going to go to OU because I think he doesn't want to lose for 4 years. And plus, if you're going to Miami, like, you're not going to get drafted either anymore. In the 2000s, you probably would have got drafted. But, like, have they had anybody of relevance drafted in the last 4 or 5 years? I'm sure there hasn't. But I can't think of a Hurricane player in the last 5 years that is playing at a high level in the NFL. Because they suck.
That's a good question.
That's
going to be the end of video challenge. Without looking it up, people, you need to tell us in the last 5 years if the shit Hurricanes have developed anybody good in the NFL.
I don't know.
I'm Googling, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't spoil it because that's the end of video challenge now.
Yeah. So.
Going back to Moten, I do think that there's a good chance that Oklahoma is going to land him. Just the entire staff has been going after defensive linemen, and that's the priority, I guess, for right now, trying to rebuild. We did have a lot of players going to the draft for that position group, so they're trying to rebuild it in their vision. Pretty good player. And then we've got his teammate and best friend that seemed like a package deal coming together. And
you love
our Mason.
Yeah. There is one player that was drafted about 5 years ago that playing at a high level offense.
And he starts in the NFL.
Yes. He plays with the Sooner.
What draft class?
2017. Come on, he plays with a Sooners quarterback.
Well, we can't say it anyway because
he plays for his
down.
Yeah.
So he's either playing for the Browns or the Cardinals.
I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, we'll move on.
Njoku's badass.
Yeah,
he's average. I wouldn't say he's great, but yeah, I'll give you Njoku, I guess. Now we got to come up with the end of video challenge.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
all right. Let's rewind. Miami.
Anyway, yeah. So, Ahmad Moten, think it's gonna, go in the Sooners' favor. So our Mason Thomas, he's Moten's teammate. He plays at Cardinal Gibbons High School in Fort Lauderdale. He's a 6'2", 215-pound edge player. He's currently committed to Iowa State, but really it's going to come down to Iowa State, Oklahoma, and Miami. And, I think Miami, again, it's just the hometown school. They can't really offer a whole lot, as Brandon pointed out. And why would you go play at Iowa State? Why would you go play in the cold?
They got corn.
They got corn. You can be corn fed up there. But I think overall with the new coaching staff, this was another kid that was a high priority for this new staff. They came in and he was offered quickly right after they got hired, just like Moten. I think honestly, Chavis or Coach Miggy made his way through to see Thomas and Moten probably on the same day because they're in the same town. And I think they're going to come together as a package deal. I feel like you play along that defensive line starting in high school. Why not go play together at the next level? So, Jose, Brandon, what do you guys think?
I had nothing to add to that. You nailed
Miami
it.
still sucks, even 30
Miami
seconds
still
later.
sucks. And Iowa State's not very good either, but they are better than Miami, but they still suck.
Yeah.
There's levels to this suck. Miami's pretty high.
The thing with Matt Campbell always looking for a different job every offseason is probably going to turn some kids off at some point.
Them. I agree.
Yep. So there's two defensive linemen that we think are going to be Sooners. There's another one, which is Grayson Halton. Grayson Halton, 6'3", 270-pound edge player out of San Diego, California. He's 4-star, number 258 overall, number 34 defensive lineman. We were once told by a commenter on one of our videos that the state of California is actually going to be on lock now from, since Lincoln Riley's there. But it seems like that there's a really good chance that Halton's going to be a Sooner. And for some weird reason, he's coming from the state of California, but I didn't think that was ever allowed to happen anymore. But, shout out to that guy. And, he's probably going to be pretty upset. But anyway, Halton was once committed to Oregon for about a year, and it seems like it's all but a done deal. He visited Oklahoma and Miami. He went Miami, then Oklahoma, and he quickly decommitted after. It seems like it's pretty obvious that he's going to be a Sooner. He's going to announce on CBS Sports HQ, I think 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. Yeah. Oh, tomorrow?
Wednesday, right?
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Recording of the video. Yeah. Sorry.
It's Tuesday. I was trying to.
So,
use my brain.
But anyway, so Halton most likely going to be Sooner, in my opinion. It's just going to come down between Oregon, Miami, and Oklahoma, just because Miami has Oregon's old coaching staff. I just feel like OU's just the timing of his decommitment. It looks pretty obvious. What do you guys think?
Pretty sure he just went to Miami for the free Miami visit. I mean, I would too. It is a fun place to be as far as beaches and stuff. And then as soon as they started taking me through their facilities, I'd be like, this place is garbage. Let's go back to the beach. I'm not coming here.
Yep. So Jose, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I don't know how you made it out of California. You might not be let back in, but you can always just stay. No one's rushing him out of here.
He might not be allowed back in. So we got a few USC fans that love to comment on our videos. So we had to throw that one in there.
Hey, how's your quarterback search going, boys?
Caleb Williams still in the OU database though. So anyway, so the last guy
is coming back, boys. Is that we're speculating now?
I don't know.
We're not saying that on the show, guys. Right?
No, we're not. That's a joke.
Before the comments blow up.
Yeah, no. So anyway, so the last guy that we really think the Sooners have a great chance on, and he's a defensive back, Jermarian Burt. He's from Ocala, Florida. I don't know. Brandon, you're the local expert of Florida.
I am the Florida expert of this pod, I guess.
Do you know how to pronounce that? Ocala, Ocala.
Absolutely.
Sounds right to me. Anyway, he's a 3-star, number 470 overall, number 28 athlete. He's 6'1", 175. He played both sides of the ball in high school, but I believe he's being recruited more as a defensive back. And he visited Utah before his OU visit. I think he might have visited Miami this weekend because, Miami needs a lot of help.
You got to stop all these Miami visits. I can't do it.
I think you might have nailed it, Brandon. I really think they just took the free visit down to Miami. I mean, why not?
Why would you not?
Go to the beach.
Exactly. Why would you not? We're going there for Jose's bachelor party, and Jose, do you want to stop by the facilities and just tell them how bad they suck?
Do you think we can just get an official visit real quick?
Yeah, and
pay for a lot of it.
This place is garbage.
Yeah. So Jermarian Burt was once committed to Florida, obviously, because Jaden Gibson and Nick Evers are now Sooners. And then you also have, was it Lee Davis? Is that her name? I believe, from Florida, on OU staff. A lot of former Florida Gators, now Sooners, and probably trying to recruit him. Feel really good about where OU sits with him. And, those are 4 guys that we think, obviously, then with Gentry Williams. Am I missing anyone else that's hanging out there that we think that could be a potential Sooner?
But yeah, you're right. A lot of familiar faces being at OU now is gonna be helpful in Burt's, recruitment and decision. And he's a very versatile, athletic player that I'm with you 100%. I think I would be real shocked if he didn't sign tomorrow with OU.
Notice how it's all defensive players.
I love it.
Yeah. So defensive first recruiting, which that's something we've needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys have any final thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, Caleb Williams speculation, anything that you'd like to say as final thoughts?
There's no Caleb Williams speculation on this program.
Yes. No.
Keep us updated on your quarterback search. We'd love to know.
Yeah. Let us know about all the insider information that all the Trojan fans that comment. Let us know what you think is going on and why it's taken nearly a month.
We really chose violence on this episode today, boys.
I don't know. I was just feeling it today. I don't know.
Miami USC fans, we chose violence.
Yeah. So, all right.
I'm gonna delegate the end of video challenge to Jose tonight, just for shit's sake. Since I ruined the end of video challenge with the.
Oh, I ruined it too. Player. Yeah, Jose, what's your end of video challenge?
Yeah,
stressful. Stressful. What other teams? I know you just love to hate on Miami, but I feel like the people watching probably have other schools they hate. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so you're just asking people to say
any team that you hate.
What team they hate the most?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to know
in these answers. Yeah, but just comment the team you hate the most. That's a good end of video challenge, Jose. I like that.
Yeah, would you want to do a quick go around us as far as our college football teams that we don't like?
Oklahoma State far and away.
Well, I'll go with me. Oklahoma State, Texas, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and that's about it.
I probably have the same four. Yeah, I like that.
Well, in Miami.
Miami.
Well, and now USC has joined the club too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because,
USC wouldn't win that conference either.
Yeah. Notre Dame needs to join a conference.
Yeah, I think Texas and Oklahoma State, they're just really annoying. I think they're good. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
In fact.
So,
all right, Brandon, just Miami?
No, I kind of agree with Brum's list. Yeah. Oklahoma State number one.
It's a pretty solid list. But anyway, so all right. I think that's everything. We're going to definitely be having a video coming out after National Signing Day of the results of all these kids, any more commitments in between now and then. But, with the video being posted this morning on Tuesday, and we've got National Signing Day just a day away. We're going to be coming out with another video here pretty quick. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all at 2 Plain Sports. And we really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.